Open Splint Lab, Designing a Hand Splint. Today we are observing a lab used to introduce the concept and skills of hand splinting from the course Adult Musculoskeletal Occupational Therapy. We will look at the three knowledge bases of content, pedagogy, and technology to analyze if this lesson supports the basic tenets of TPACK, the integration of technology into teaching. We begin with content. In this lesson, we will observe as students learn the practical skills of making hand splints. What we are seeing now is the intersection of content and technology as the instructor shares the intent of the lesson and the tools she will be using to deliver content information via the projector, Word, and PowerPoint.
Essentially, what I hope to have you accomplish over the next 5 labs is to learn how to make splints and to learn the process of reasoning that you need to make the splints. So the way that I usually do this is use the labs for all the experiential part and let you actually make them and not listen to me stand here and talk a lot. Let me show you the other things that are on the Blackboard site. The patterns that I gave you, there are clean copies on Blackboard. They're a little smaller than these. To scan them in, I had to shrink them a little bit. So if you print them off from there, you're going to find that they're a little bit smaller. And if you use it to make a pattern, you're going to have to enlarge it a little bit. The PowerPoint is on here. I'm not going to lecture. Make sure you do the reading and review the PowerPoint, okay? And then bring questions to lecture and lab, and we can address those as they come up. If you want to see how good you're doing with the reading, there is a Jeopardy game on here for you. So as you click on the numbers, you can do the reading by the, it's kind of arranged by the chapters of the reading. And then you can go in and ask yourself the questions. And I didn't put the answers on purpose. So you can see if you know the answers after you do the PowerPoint, do the reading, and see how well. It's sort of a way for you to make sure that you're keeping up with what you need to for the reading. Hit the home button, it takes you back. Okay. So hopefully you've got enough resources to kind of keep you going and to make sure that you're doing what you need to do.
Next, we'll examine pedagogy. Here we see the instructor providing information about best practices of working with the splinting material. Notice how she hands students pieces of the material to touch. Other examples of pedagogy include the instructor's use of hands-on demonstration, collaborative learning, hands-on peer-to-peer support, and hands-on instructor-to-student support.
Okay, right at her IP. So go ahead and upload this for me, Lauren. Go ahead and make a top shot. Okay, here's the trick with this one. Get your hand right in their web space and make that smooth. Get that web space and thumb right first. You got my thumb from. If you ever need to find me, you'll know where.
Are you trying to mold them together?
Yeah. I want it to overlap so that it doesn't pinch her. And there's that one. So it's up to the IP. It came a little bit too high in the back, so I just kind of rolled it down. Yeah, good point. Before it's set up completely, make sure they can. Because if somebody's got a large IP, and a lot of people with arthritis do,
they're in trouble.
Then you're using your bandage scissors and you're hacking the thing off of them. Okay, wave at me a little bit. Let's get this, extend your wrist up.
Next, we will look at the use of technology in this lesson. What we see here is the Blackboard course site designed to support student learning in this course. In addition to the announcements informing students of what's coming up next, there's an organization where lab documents are separated, and the splinting labs in particular are organized with support documents, such as patterns for the wrist splints, and also a PowerPoint self-check quiz for students to do at their own pace at their own time. While the quiz itself doesn't give specific feedback, it does prompt students to reflect upon the things that they know about this material. Strengths of this lesson with regard to TPACK include Blackboard technology was introduced, was well organized, and was visible throughout the lesson and the lab. Learning was interactive as students practiced the technique of making hand splints in groups and in pairs. Students gained experiential learning from hands-on activities and the lab work. Students were able to use technology to reflect upon their learning. Weakness of this lesson with regard to TPACK includes that while technology was used to display content information, it was only used as a resource, mainly for non-lab activities and not integrated directly into the lesson itself. We observed that there was no use of collaboration or interaction online between the students or the instructor. This lesson supports the content and pedagogy tenets of TPACK, yet lacks innovative and interactive activities using technology. We believe this could be addressed if the instructor offered a self-paced scaffolding of an interactive website. For example, if the instructor provided an interactive virtual splinting lab where learners worked at their own pace to master sequential skills, the technology would allow faster learners to move on to more advanced skills, while slower learners took more time to master the basic skills.